As somebody who's dropped 20 kilos to get lean and stay lean, in this video I'm going to break down the exact 5 habits I'll do if I wanted to regain that weight, get fat again, so you know exactly what you need to avoid to get your own physical transformation this year. Cool. Number 1, so if I wanted to get fat again, the first thing I would do is carry on thinking that the fact that I trained 3-4 times a week meant that I was active despite me spending 40 hours a week sat behind a desk. Now you might be sitting there thinking, what's this guy talking about? If I'm lifting heavy, training hard multiple times a week, that must mean that I'm active. And I hear you, because I used to think the exact same thing, but here's the reason why I was wrong in that assumption. Because while I was training consistently, that only accounted for 3-4 hours of my week, which then leaves another 164 hours of the week where I wasn't really moving a whole lot. I was literally glued behind a desk 35 to 40 hours a week. The only time I'd move through my day was getting up to go make a coffee in the kitchen. And when it came to going to the corner shop, even though it was a 7-minute walk away, I would still get in the car and drive. You probably see where I'm going with this. So what did I do instead to change that? Well, what I didn't do was start pummeling a shitload of cardio, even though I didn't really like it, and made sure I got up more through my day, aiming to get up to 8 to 12k steps. It sounds boring and it almost sounds too simple, because I know for myself, if you told me that all that time ago, that just get out and walk, I'd be thinking, what are you talking about? Nah, it's got to be cardio. You've got to be sweating it out if you want to lose body fat. But no, it really is that simple. And for me and my clients, walking is literally the key. So what you want to do is find a way you can incorporate that into your day. That might be doing a bit before work. It might be getting 15 minutes in on your lunch break. It might be seeing it as a way to unwind after a full day at work. And the beauty of walking is you can break it up through your day and fit it into your lifestyle a whole lot easier than doing cardio after your gym sessions. Because realistically, if you're going before work, you probably haven't got time to do 45 minutes, 60 minutes of lifting and then spend 45 minutes on the treadmill, Stairmaster, whatever it is you're using, and the same after work as well, right? So keep it simple, get out and touch some grass. Okay, so the second habit I'd start up if I wanted to be looking like Tinky Winky's uncle again. I'd keep thinking that the fact that I showed up to the gym consistently meant that I was doing enough to be changing the shape of my physique, being happy with following the exercises laid out in my plan, being happy hitting the 3 sets of 12, feeling the burn, and because I felt that burn and a bit of soreness the next day, that it was enough. Now what's important to distinguish here is a workout feeling hard because you're sweating and you're feeling the burn is very different to going into the gym and training hard, because that burning sensation that you feel, the buildup of lactic acid that people tell you is muscle damage, where it starts to feel uncomfortable and it's enough to make you want to stop the set. I know you feel sore the next day from it and you think, cool, job's done, job's a good one. But for most people, when they reach that point when they're feeling that level of discomfort, they're actually 6, sometimes 7 reps away from failure or reaching that point where they couldn't possibly do another rep, which is the exact place that we need to be if we want to be building muscle or at least holding on to it as we're trying to lose body fat. And yeah, you might be thinking, yeah, but I want to lose fat and I'll focus on building muscle later. And the logic behind that makes sense, but this is the point where it gets interesting, because yes, you can lose fat and then focus on building muscle after, but what happens is when you haven't been training hard and you continue to lose body fat, all you're going to have at the end of it is you looking like a smaller but still soft version of yourself. The skinny fat look, which I'm pretty sure you don't want, but I've been there myself. I'm sure I'll put a picture up here somewhere. So whether we're trying to lose body fat or build muscle, we're going to go into the gym and train hard regardless, which looks like adding weight each week. If it's not adding weight, then it could be adding an additional rep or seeing your technique improve. You want the end of your working sets to be looking visibly slower compared to the first few reps, the point where your face is starting to screw up, you're involuntarily moving the weight slower, you're questioning your whole life choices at this point, and reaching the point or close to the point where we couldn't possibly perform another rep with at least half decent technique. That's how we make sure you actually have muscle definition to reveal when you lose body fat and get lean enough to see it. Okay, number 3, if I wanted to regain the 20 kilos that I lost, I would keep having no plan for my nutrition throughout the week. I'll do my healthy shopping on a Saturday, stack the fridge up with all the healthy foods, the chicken, the broccoli, the sweet potato, you know the drill. And that would be pretty much where the work would stop. Now on paper that seems harmless because the intention to eat well is fully there. Because the reality is you're not a fitness influencer. You're not living your life for fitness, where the only thing you got to think about is going to the gym and thinking about what to eat and maybe recording some videos for YouTube. You work a full-time job with probably a high level of responsibility. So by the time you're thinking about what you're doing for work, making thousands of decisions a day, to then have the mental energy to think about what you're going to eat for each given meal, something something is going to give at some point, and usually it means that you lead to convenience with your food choices. And that's exactly how it would play out for me pretty much every single week. I would know that I had all the healthy foods stacked up in the fridge, but after a busy day at work, my brain would be cooked. I'd be on the drive home trying to conjure up what I was going to eat, but my brain was just short-circuiting, and it just became easier to think, you know what, let me go to a Boss Man's on the way home and get a takeaway and be done with it. And then I'd be telling myself, don't worry, it's okay, I'll just get back on it tomorrow, or even worse, wait to start again on Monday. But that alone, happening 2, maybe even 3 times a week alone, would be enough to wipe out all the work that I'd done with my nutrition for the rest of the week. See, all of that would have been avoidable if I had a plan. I knew what I was coming home to eat, whether it's having something already prepped or knowing that I had simple nutrition that I didn't have to think about. It was just putting some microwave rice on, maybe putting a piece of chicken that's already seasoned in the air fryer and some frozen veg on the hob that's going to take me 15 minutes in total to have my dinner, rather than thinking, shit, I've got to cook this elaborate meal and I just haven't got the energy for it. The way I do this for myself and with my clients now is creating a menu through the week, reducing your decisions you're making by creating 2 to 3 options for each meal. And that might be as simple as having 1 breakfast that you're going to have every day for the week. Boom, that's sorted. 2 to 3 lunches you're going to cycle between. That might take you, one option sorts you out for Monday and Tuesday, another option sorts you out for Wednesday and Thursday, then you've got your third option that sorts you through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Same thing with your dinner as well. And again, you're probably getting a bit of a theme here that, this sounds a little bit boring, but if being boring, keeping things simple means you can get the kind of consistency going that gets you into the kind of shape that you want to be in, where you're no longer going into summer feeling uncomfortable in your body, not feeling self-conscious of wearing less clothes and covering up even though you're sweating it out. Yeah, you probably need to be more boring to get to that place. All right, number 4, which kind of piggybacks off the last point. Now, you can have the plan of your nutrition and be eating all the healthy foods, but eating healthy alone doesn't guarantee that you're going to get lean and get into the kind of shape that you want to be in, which again is the exact trap that I fell into that meant I was in a position where I had 20 kilos of body fat to be losing, because I was listening to the guy in the gym that was telling me that it's simple as just eating clean and training hard. So the avocado was in, the chicken thighs were in, the veg, the peanut butter, the rice, the pasta. I was literally eyeballing portions and hoping for the best. I remember at one point, I literally thought I was going in. I was making these shakes, thinking that it's going to help me to get all the gains in, blending up milk, peanut butter, oats, chucking in all kinds of fruits in there, bananas, apples, protein shakes. And I literally thought that I'm eating the right foods here, this is all gonna turn into muscle. But having that mindset is the exact reason why I got fat in the first place, not realizing that these foods, even though they were healthy, still have calories, and a lot of them are quite dense in calories. Because believe it or not, you still can gain body fat from eating well. This is why we want to be tracking our nutrition and making sure we're not running through on guesswork. This is what I do when I first start working with a new client. In week 1, we're going through a nutrition audit where we literally have their food diary, go through it together with a fine tooth and comb, and we're looking at the first 1, 2, maybe even 3 tweaks we can be making that's going to get them shedding fat from week 1. But if you want to know how many calories you need to be consuming to get lean, I'll put a link in the description below for my lean physique tracker that's going to give you your targets, but also allow you to track your progress so you know that you're moving in the right direction and when you need to be making adjustments. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, but tracking calories is long, and it is if you're tracking meal by meal, making decisions in the moment numerous times a day. So go back and listen to point 3 and create that meal rotation for yourself so you can do this on pretty much autopilot. Okay, final point. If I wanted to get fat again, I would track absolutely no data. I'd rely on memory for what I lifted in the gym last week. I would track my measurements, take photos, and look at my weight whenever I felt like it, and operate completely on guesswork. But guesswork is the very thing that's keeping you stuck. Like, how do you know if you're moving forward or not unless you have some kind of data telling you the direction that things are going in? Because you might look in the mirror and think that maybe you're seeing a little bit of muscle definition if you squint really hard, but you're never really sure if it's progress or your mind playing tricks on you, which is the exact place I used to be in. Or because you're not seeing the belly go down after 2 weeks, you think that things aren't working, you start to question why you're doing this in the first place, and slow and steady, the habits that you're trying to get away from that got you into the place that you're in right now start creeping back in one by one. Now, as humans, we're driven to see progress. We want to be seeing forward motion. And when we're seeing that forward motion, we're way more likely to keep going because we know that our efforts are moving us in the right direction. But when you're not seeing that progress and you're going completely off feelings, you're going to give yourself more opportunity to fall off. So track data, show yourself that you're getting stronger weekly, show yourself that over time your weight is trending downwards, show yourself that your measurements are dropping. Compare your progress photos every 6 weeks. Give yourself as much chance to see progress as possible. And if you aren't seeing progress, you at least can look at the data and say, okay, cool, this isn't moving, so I need to change something. Because having that data, 3-4 weeks of it, means you can react a lot quicker rather than getting 3 months down the line and realizing that all your efforts have been in vain, which is a pretty shit place to be. Again, my Lean Physique tracker is going to help you with this. If you want to be on top of how you're progressing, make sure you head to the link in my description. So that's pretty much the video. If you avoid the 5 things that are spoken about today, getting lean is not going to be anywhere near as complicated as you think it might be. And because I know that you finally want to get lean this year, you should probably watch this video next so you're prepared for the 3 things that people don't tell you about that are almost certainly going to happen when you do get into the shape of your life. Cool, in a bit. Catch you in the next one.